Hello, welcome to my very first lesson on drums here on YouTube. And well, we're going to say you know nothing about drums, okay? We're going to imagine that you know nothing, absolutely nothing about drums. Now let's go from the first step is, let's see what is all these things about. Now you see here on your left hand side, let's go from left to right. Let's not be like we do from right to left. Let's go from left to right. Here you have, this is a cymbal. Now this cymbal, you see it's two. One on top, one on the bottom. Now this is called a hi-hat. You know, it's just, look just like a hi-hat. Very logic, isn't it? Anyway, when you have these two cymbals, when you push this pedal, okay, you can't see my foot on the pedal, I imagine, I suppose you can't see my foot. But anyway, when I push the pedal, the cymbal closes. Now, the reason for this is you have a closed hi-hat which sounds like this, and you have an open hi-hat which sounds like this. And you often use it in a song to bring some color into the song, you know, to go like, or you can use it even just in the beginning of a song, you know, when just before the person starts singing, they go, you know. But anyway, this is your hi-hat. Okay, now this is, it's called a cowbell, but it's actually just an add-on which I've put on my kit. It's basically just do the same as a hi-hat. It doesn't sound the same, eh? Not at all, but it's the same. It's a time organ. Okay. But down here, right in front of me, is one of the very important parts on a drum. It's called a snare drum. It sounds like this. Now, the reason for this, it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about the names for these things. The snare drum is called a snare drum because it has snares on the bottom. And you can adjust these snares to create they call it a kind of a bass sound actually. It goes like, you know, when you hit the snare you hear. Now if you do this, okay, I like my sound like this, but when you turn this switch here, it gives it a more bass sound, and it goes like dash. And when you turn it a little bit more, it goes like dash. You know, the more you turn it, the more it goes. So many people doesn't like it, and they put the switch, you know, on the toughest, you know, so that when you hit the snare, there's no bass sound, and it's just like tick sound. But yeah, I like it like this. Like it is actually much. You see, there's a perfect example. I've done it. There's too much, and I hit it, and there's a little bit less of the bass sound. Okay, now next in line is the bass sound, and it's very once again very logic to call it a bass sound because it's a bass. It's what it is. Now, one of the secrets of a bass drum, you don't push it with your foot down completely. You push it with your toes, you know. You don't push it with your foot completely down. Your toes must be, your heel must be in the air and your toes on the front. Like this. Let's show it with my hand. You don't do it like this. You do it like this. Okay. So now here is where it gets a little bit tricky with these three drums, because they call it a high tom, a mid tom, and a low tom. Then they call it the first tom, the second tom, and the third tom. Then they call it actually the same, high tom, low tom, and floor tom. Yeah, actually high tom, mid tom, low tom, or they call it high tom, mid tom, and floor tom. Now I like to speak about high tom, mid tom, and floor tom. That's what the tom-toms, you know, it's a tom. And they sound like this. Okay. Now this is when you do a full, which is actually the close explanation to a fill is a drum roll. But anyway, we call it fills, we drummers. Because that's actually what it is. It fills the song. And here's what I call this a splash. And this is called a crash. Now the reason why I said these together, a splash and a crash, is because they have the same function. The only function they have is when you do a fill. Okay, let's like the crash, a big one, and this is a small one, the splash. So that's like a water splash, eh? But anyway, it has the same functionality. When you do a fill, it goes like both songs together with a crash. Okay, now you know the parts of the drum. So let's start with simple beat, the 4-beat. Now, 4-beat, you'll see in your head. I try to imagine in your head. Here you have a picture. You have lines, okay, like when you fill in a form, you have such lines. And then you have HH, that stands for hired. Then you have another cross there. At 1, okay, let's start from the bottom. At the bottom, there stands 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's how you count, okay? Now you have this little cross there like a marker, you know, like a wrong mark, an X. Yes, let's say an X. You have an X on top. At 1 there's an X, at 2 there's an X, at 3 there's an X, and at 4 there's another X. And what on earth does this now mean? Okay, that's very simple. It means 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's your hired. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay, there is. And now, just underneath the hired, you have SD, and that stands for snare drum. Now, usually a snare drum is always on 2 and 4, especially in the most common beats and such things. But there is variations, of course, and there's actually a beat called snare variation. But yeah, you have usually the snare drum is on 2 and 4. So now how it sounds like this now? It goes like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and okay. Now just at the bottom of that SD you have BD, and that stands for bass drum. So logical, isn't it? Now you have the bass drum on 1 and on 3. So it goes and okay, that's very easy. So if you can do this, you can put a lot of variations in it. You can go, especially on the bass drum, okay? Not the snare right now, not the hi-hat right now. Let's do a bass drum first. Because you see, you need to, I mean, I'm a drummer, but the bass drum is my bad point. I'm struggling with my bass drum to do it. You know, people go like, I cannot do that with my foot. It's a version of the Matthew, of course, when you can do anything. 32 notes. Anyway, but your bass drum, you can put a lot of variations in. So let's do a simple variation. This is one of the most common variations. The bass drum is 1 and 2 and 3. Okay, so it goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and okay, let's do this for now, so that you know this is lesson number 1, and we don't go too much further. But I want to teach you just one more thing, a little fill. Because you see, you cannot play without a fill, and it's, you know, sorry, I'm Afrikaans, and sometimes I put Afrikaans in my English. Yeah, anyway, you need to understand that fills is very important in songs, and as a drummer, I say you play the same beat over and over, yeah, you do, but you need to variate it. So let's do a little fill now. Listen, just before you go on to the fill, you know what a bar is. Not a bar where you drink, okay? I'm not interested in that. A bar is from that point, from 1 to 1 is a bar. In other words, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's a bar actually, and then it begins at 1 again. So it's not from 1 to 1, it's from 1 to 4 and, sorry, I made a little mistake there. It's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, then you have your bar. 8 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notes. Okay, so now that's a bar. Now what I want to teach you here is we're going to play. I think let's play 2 bars, and then we do a fill. Okay, but the fill sounds like this. It's very easy. So let's play 2 bars. So you go. Actually, the most common way to do it is 4 bars. So you go. That's it. I hope you enjoy it just as much as I did. I hope I've taught you something.